This is a letter to those who might be surprised by this news, but there are more draft prospects out there this year than Victor Webenyama. In fact, the 2023 NBA draft class is shaping up to be one of the deeper ones we've seen in recent years, with prospects from International, G League, Collegiate, and Overtime Elite League all battling for lottery standings. Let's take a look into where the struggling NBA teams may land their picks and what potential future stars they could find. What's up, everybody? This is Mad Hoops, bringing you the hottest, most relevant NBA content on YouTube. Let's get right into it. Coming in at number 1, the Charlotte Hornets will take Victor Webenyama, the 7'4", 230-pound Frenchman. The Charlotte Hornets have been fighting for position at the throne of worst team in the entire league, but it wasn't even in their original deck of cards they thought they had as they headed into this past offseason. Unfortunately, they lost Miles Bridges for nothing and used their draft pick to get a center that barely sees any time on the floor. New head coach Steve Clifford has made one thing clear in his coaching career. He trusts his vets and wants to compete. Sorry, Mark Williams, but you're going to have to really earn those minutes from Mason Plumlee. With all that said, Charlotte might come out of the other side of this year's draft with the prospect that Clifford will have no choice but to play right away. With the first overall pick, the Hornets obviously grabbed the generational draft prospect Victor Webenyama. At 7'4" and 230 pounds, the French phenom showcases a broad range of skills from shooting, shot creation, and defending the paint. He's averaging 22 points and almost 10 rebounds in the French league, along with 31% shooting from deep and 3 blocks a game. Overall, the LaMelo and Vic duo would create instant offense every possession while growing into a defensive pair with crazy positional length. At number 2, the Houston Rockets go for G League Ignite prospect Scoot Henderson. The Houston Rockets are a blown-up team that has already gathered pieces for a massive future success. They have a trio of Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Sengun. This second overall pick could compete with their young core and help them reascend into relevancy. The man to be sent on that mission is G League Ignite point guard Scoot Henderson. Scoot would be considered the number 1 overall pick in any draft that doesn't have someone like Wembanyama. He's undersized at 6'2", but has a powerful and controlled athleticism to counteract it. When you watch him, he doesn't seem like he's just turning 19 in February. He can stop on a dime when he needs to, while also being able to blow by most defenders on his way to the paint. His 6 assists a game also showcase why he'd be ready to run the offense and find the open rockets. Shooters like Green and Smith will also stretch the floor for Scoot to operate. With the number 3 pick, the Detroit Pistons are going to go for Brandon Miller at 6'9", 200 pounds. The Pistons were hoping to maybe start putting pieces together to compete, but had a rough start and then lost Cade to injury for the rest of the season. The silver lining is they should definitely expect to find themselves in the top 3 of a loaded draft class. With Cade and Ivy in the backcourt and aspiring big men in Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, look for Detroit to try and fill out their wings by selecting Brandon Miller from Alabama. Miller is a 6'9", 200-pound small forward who has defensive capabilities and can shoot the absolute lights out of the ball. He's averaging 19.5 points, 8 rebounds, and shooting 46% from 3. We're talking about pairing that level of a shooter to be the kickout guy for Cunningham and Ivy. Piston fans, I understand you have your eyes set on Vic, but Brandon Miller could be a key piece for the future of the Motor City. Next up, at the 4th overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs is going to go with Thompson, the overtime elite shooting guard, coming in at 6'7" and 190 pounds. The Spurs, who have finally accepted a rebuild in these past few years and started to gain some traction. With a trio of interesting young pieces in Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and Trey Jones, the Spurs should look to add some height and athleticism to be guided under the steady hand of Greg Popovich. That's why Thompson of overtime elite is the perfect fit in San Antonio. The Thompson twins have garnered a lot of media buzz, but Amin has showcased why he's the brother to prioritize. At 6'7" and 190 pounds, Thompson as a wing player at the next level could be dangerous. He's averaging 16.5 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals a game, scoring through lightning-fast dashes to the rim while still getting his teammates involved. Amin could fit nicely around the shooting guards in San Antonio, who can cover his current weaknesses with only shooting 21% from deep. And again, the developmental prowess of Popovich and staff could help build Amin into a truly special player. Next up, we have one of 2 of Orlando Magic selections, and with the 5th pick, they grab Arkansas guard Nick Smith Jr. The Magic have been desperate this season for reliable play in their guards. Fultz, Suggs, and Anthony are not going to do it long term. The playmaking side might be getting done collectively, as the three combine for almost 15 dimes a game, but none average more than 12 points. Nick Smith Jr. might not walk in and be the flashiest scorer with bursts of speed or brute strength, but he's proved with the Razorbacks that he knows how to create his own shot his way. Through shifty maneuvers and a flurry of pull-ups and runners, Smith can help reignite the Magic offense when Paolo and Franz need to sit. You also might need to sit down for this next one, because we've hit the part where we talk about one of OKC's treasure trove of first-round pick selections. The Thunder have still been raking in the losses, even though they continually draft high and have a massive young star in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. With the 6th overall pick, they're looking for that brute strength guy to balance out all their length-based weapons and finally help them start winning more games. Cam Whitmore of Villanova has an explosive and aggressive game that will do just that. His self-creation may still be fairly raw, but the 6'7", 220-pound small forward is still averaging 13 points and 5 rebounds, along with 50% shooting. He can drive through contact and hunker down on defense against the bigger wings of the NBA, allowing for the guard length of Shai and Giddey to continue being pests in passing lanes and Chet to man the middle. With the 7th pick, we cut to a team that surprised the whole league by being this low in the standings. The Toronto Raptors have a ton of talent on their roster. They also have a winning coach in Nick Nurse. They also have a championship pedigree with players Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam. So why are they struggling? Well, one thing to point out might be that the Raptors have a ton of length when it comes to the power forward / pseudo big man archetype, but their guards are small and struggle to hold their own on defense. Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. are not bad defenders, but they aren't that big like the rest of the roster. And if the Raptors want to continue their length build, they need to select Ausar Thompson with this pick. Ausar completes the Thompson twins, so is also 6'7" and 190 pounds. The shooting guard might not be as much of a freak athlete as Amin, but it still has a powerful frame that averaged 16.6 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 5.1 assists. He also has a healthier shooting stroke at 32%, but the real reason the Raptors select him is his defense. Ausar averages 2.5 blocks and 1.5 steals at Overtime Elite. He had multiple games with as many as 7 blocks and completely shut down his opponents. Getting a guard like that to handle the perimeter in the pros could help restabilize a sinking Toronto. Number 8, the Orlando Magic, via the Bulls, select Keontae George, the shooting guard from Baylor, coming in at 6'4" and 205 pounds. In keeping with the Magic's pick earlier, they should be looking to rehaul their backcourt and select another guard. Freshman Keontae George has caught a lot of people's eyes down at Baylor. The 6'4", 205-pound combo guard has that burst of speed coupled with a solid frame you like to see in guards attacking the basket, as well as a clean shooting stroke connecting on 35% of his threes. The Baylor Bear is currently averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, showcasing an all-around game that can work around the gravity of someone like Paolo. And that's where it all comes into play with these picks. The league has been deeper than ever, and all of these teams already have major building blocks. They'll need to find that balance of best player and best fit to get back to competing. Peace.